Hey everybody, how's it going? This is one follow-up video for my hollow blank bases kind of review from Secret Weapon Miniatures. And here we have one base that I used, the one on the right here. This is a blank one again. Not for Space Hulk, no, well, I should say Space Hulk, not for Blood in the Void. I still have plans to do a Blood in the Void style base utilizing this base's characteristics to really bring it to life and emphasize that a bit. And when I do that, I'll of course do another revisit video. But in this kind of like update, a little update to the video, if you will, a little update to the review, I did a regular kind of base, like a regular Warfield style base. Or Warzone, I should say. Warfield. That's Battlefield and Warzone mixed together. What I did here is something I kind of talked about in the review, which is using a base inside this base. You can kind of do that. And what I have here is a slotted base, slotted 25 or 28 millimeter base, whatever one it is of appropriate size, I forget. A slotted regular small base like that. Put it inside this base, not directly centered, not all the way to one side, glued it down, and then built the base around it, and included it as part of the base. What I did was I used spackling paste, some bits, modeling sand, and like a little piece of slate to get the effect you see here on this base. Let's zoom in on it. And I dry brushed it. What we have here is, first off, anything that looks like it's cut is not. It's actually sunken into this base because, being a hollow blank base, you have room to sink stuff into it. I have a Slaanesh icon bit, kind of like a backpack icon, that's been broken on purpose and put on this base. And here is a bit that works pretty well to represent like a lantern or anything kind of like terrain type, but it's actually Chaos Terminator's mace head from his power weapon arm. I clipped off the mace head to make a Khopesh, and I kept the mace head, and it worked well to kind of just add a little bit of a spot color to the base, if you will, and add a little bit more to the base and just being kind of flat. And I sunk it in on an angle. And you can barely tell there is a slight raise. The base is a little bit taller when you sink it in. When you glue to this, the base raises up a little bit past the lip here, but it's hardly noticeable, especially at a distance. You wouldn't really be able to tell. I did this because the model in question that I'm painting up, and I won't tell you what it is, or who it is, or what it's for, until it's done, and hopefully that'll be in the next few days or so if I get some nice quality time with my paints. We'll see how that goes though. But I'm hoping to get it finished sooner rather than later. There we go. So sooner rather than later. But he needed a base, a 40mm base, and he's a slotted miniature. And I didn't want to cut the slot off because it would definitely help with his securedness, I guess. And this works out very well. I test fitted him, so he fits him right here, nice and easy. And it'll look really cool. So, you can do this for some of your, if you have old school Terminators on the smaller base, back when they used to be on the smaller base, you can now put them on a bigger base if you get the hollow blanks, and kind of make, you know, if you don't want to break them off the base, but you want to still make a base, you can kind of do that. Another thing you can kind of do, which I didn't do here, is you definitely could, like, temporarily tack something to the base, put it down, build a spackling paste around it, and then kind of like spin it and pull it straight up, and then have a hole for it to sit in. You can even magnetize it, and then you could put them in this if you want to use a bigger base for kind of like a display purposes or whatever, and then take them out and use a smaller base for gaming, since you can't put them on bigger bases anymore technically. But you know, nobody really cares. But you could do that if you wanted to. No real reason to do that for a diorama, because you could just sink them into the diorama and not need a bigger base, but the option is there. So that's just what I did for this base. Just want to show you kind of in practice of building up spackling paste, sinking bits into it, and how it would look when it's fully done. And it looks like a regular 40mm base with a slot in it. And again, that's there for a purpose. The model must be modeled on a 40mm base when it normally isn't. And some of you may know who or what it is because of that. Well, you may know what it is, but not so much who. Um, Kind of a little curveball in that regard for that, which hopefully I'll have done soon uh, to show you guys. Anyway, rambling on a bit too long here. Just want to give you kind of a little update on the hollow blank bases. I am using them. I do plan to use them for Blood in the Void particularly, but this has worked out too well not to do. I wanted to show you a concept that you could do for your your models that you may have. If you have 40mm models like Mega Knobs or something like that, that have a peg in their foot to kind of drill into the bottle, or drill into the base, I should say, to make them sit into it. This can also be a nice base to use. You could use spackling paste, foam, whatever it is, plastic card to kind of fill it in a bit, give you kind of a cool dynamic scene for those guys, and I'll let you drill into something a bit more stable than just drilling into a hollow. Because basically you take this, flip it over, and then if you had the edges taper like this, you have a standard Terminator base, a 40mm base, and they're not solid. So once you make that hole, there's nothing really for the peg to sit in, or touch, except for the sides. So when you have this, you can fill it in and kind of drill into it, and have the peg make contact on all sides basically, and hold it a bit more securely. At least that's my thought on that. But anyway, that's it. So it was a long one, longer than I intended, about just a base, but I rambled on. So until next time, take it easy.